Peace to you. I hope this finds you well. I'm more than halfway through my first day of Ramadan. I feel pretty good. Um, if you look at me, you can see that, I'm reasonably healthy, but I've never been motivated by food. Um, I was visiting with my daughter and her family, and at one point, my daughter, pointed out to my son in law. She says, Dad only eats to keep himself going. He doesn't really concern himself with food. So, food is not an issue. And drinking water has become more a part of my routine these days. So, I guess I sort of missed that. But I wanted to share with you, if I may, a little bit about. I followed Jesus for over 40 years. I I tried on a couple of occasions. I was successful on a couple of occasions. I fasted for a 3 day period. No water, no food, no drink, no for 3 days. That's all I could do. See, when I read or read and still read Jesus's story, he's baptized by John the Baptist in the Jordan, and he's led into the wilderness. And for 40 days he fasts. For 40 days. And I was always curious about that. I didn't know if you could last 40 days without food or water. I don't know if that's possible. But I was always curious about it. And I just had to look it up. There is in the book of Matthew, I think, I just looked it up, where the disciples bring a man possessed. Well, bring a man and his son is possessed. The father says he's a lunatic. He has spells. He throws himself into the fire, and the man says to Jesus, "Your disciples could not heal him." And Jesus explains to his disciples that it's their lack of faith that they can't, is the reason that they can't do it. If you have faith that of the size of a mustard seed, you could say to the mountain, move, and it would move. That's what Jesus says. But he ends his direction to his disciples by saying, however, this situation goes not away except by prayer and fasting. When I read in the Quran that it has been prescribed to you, fasting has been prescribed to you as it was prescribed before you. But in the Christian society understanding, fasting is not something that we concern ourselves with. And I always found that fascinating. And I just think, I posted yesterday how excited I was to begin Ramadan for the first time. And I still am. To read in the Quran that the fasting has been adjusted by Allah to allow us not only to gain the benefits of fasting from sunup to sundown, we don't eat or drink or participate in other things from sunup to sundown, but after the sun goes down and before it rises again, we can feed our bodies. And I just think it's wonderful. The the perception of Islam in the world, most of you have to know, it's not a good perception of this faith. But yet, when I read the Quran through the first time, I was absolutely amazed by the inclusiveness and the love and the understanding that Allah seemed to be showing to his servants. It's just wonderful. And I think it's terrific that I have finally found or been guided to a way to fast with the intentions of glorifying the creator of all the worlds and still not put such a burden on this old skinny body of mine. I've always been thin. I've always been thin. If you're celebrating Ramadan, I pray that everything is wonderful, and I pray that you stay healthy, you and yours stay healthy, and I peace be upon you all, and I will keep you posted. Be well.